What is going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea. And as you can see, there's two of us.
Hello.
In the room. Hello, it's me and Lawrence. And then obviously we've got Brandon on the other end, 2 floors above us, because he didn't want to come down because he's antisocial.
Well, no, one, you didn't invite me down, and 2, the internet would be so bad.
That's true, but the thing is, it is called initiative, and Lawrence has shown it and travelled all the way from Austria for a stream.
Exactly.
So I think
travelled for the stream. Stop. No, he's travelled for Stoke.
I'm also eating my dinner. I have some lovely hot and spicy noodles with turkey breast because health kick and all that. Got tomato stuff afterwards because I was going to mix them in, but it was a bit behind schedule. But that's besides the point. We're here to talk about Chelsea 5, Nottingham Forest 1,
And Diego Costa.
and Costa. Yes, that's big news. And Bakayoko, which is slightly sadder news.
Oh yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But first, you make the call, Lawrence. You're technically the guest in my flat.
Let's first of all talk about why Brandon has now a green thingy.
Yeah, why do you have to be different?
I'm changing it.
The yellow was good. Keep the yellow at least.
I don't want to alarm you, but the stream isn't coming up on YouTube.
I like it, mate.
The stream's not showing on YouTube at all.
Which one are we on?
That one. The thing on this is standard and I don't. That's why I didn't check it. My bad. Right, let's. Do we do a new one?
Keep going.
Bless you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Just click publish.
Why not?
Just click publish. Go to videos.
Sweet Caroline. Lawrence, are you following tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Lawrence.
Yes.
What did it say?
You're coming to Follies with us tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Lawrence.
Is it there now, Brandon?
I'm refreshing, and it's not there. Let me refresh again. Yeah, it's there. Okay.
Are we live right now?
I think we're on. Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Hello.
Hi. Right, let's start again. Right, hit refresh so we can get the comments up. Let's go. Come on.
Minor complications.
Come on. As you can see, anyway, Lawrence is here with me. He's in my flat. He's here for the Stoke game. So if you guys want, it's not there. So Brandon's on comments duty. Unless we live stream it.
Yeah, I've got the comments up. Don't worry, mate.
You just started
go
doing this thing.
No. I want to make sure this is perfect. People can see the magic behind this.
Let me start it off. Ready? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea, and welcome back to another live stream.
Shut up. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea, and welcome to your hangover review. As you can see, I'm joined by Lawrence. Here. How are you?
Yeah.
He's going to be staying in my flat while we're going to, we're in Stoke. But anyway, we also got Brandon here. We're here to talk about our 5-1 victory on the Forest. Also a bit about Diego Costa. A little bit about Tiamue. I'm still going to say his name.
Something like that.
Bakayoko. We're talking a little bit about Bakayoko. If you're wondering what's going to be happening, I'm not talking. I'm eating my dinner, which is some love hot and spicy noodles with some turkey breast.
He's a bit too happy with that.
Because I'm very happy with that, mate. Not many students could probably nail this.
To be fair, we made like 15 minutes.
A bit of a G. Anyway.
So I mean, I didn't get round to watching it. Obviously, Brandon made a video earlier, basically on the topic of Diego Costa. So,
Literally.
Watched it. How rude.
what? Well, I was on a bloody plane and trains and stuff. Anyway,
Hijack it. Hijack the plane and make sure you watch it next time.
not sure if we should say like hijacking planes.
No, that's about it.
Anyway, a demonetization is ready. Do you want to just get us through what you basically researched at Diego Costa? Because
yes. Okay, so let me get my notepad and look professional. Oh, it's all the way over there. I'm not getting that. Okay, so
yeah, you just get that and I talk in the meantime. So basically, obviously, Costa has today been confirmed to be joining Atletico Madrid for a rumoured figure of, well, the rumoured figure is 55 million euros plus 10 million euros of add-ons, which adds up to around 57 million pounds, which, yeah, exactly. Like, I was very happy when I read that. I thought we were going to get 30, 40 maximum. But, to get almost 60 out of him, basically get the same price out of him that we paid for Morata, is very decent. I'm very happy with that. Obviously, a lot of people have had different opinions on, how he, behaved in the last few months, what kind of player he was, the player he was enough to still be, remembered in a good light, basically, even though what he did the last few, basically, yeah. you back, Brandon? With
Yeah, I am. Sorry. Yeah. So basically, if you haven't already, check out I'm calling it a trilogy of Diego Costa. That's why I wanted to cover the video, obviously, because I did the 2 update videos on him last time. We've agreed a deal with Atletico Madrid for him. It's obviously subject to personal terms and a medical, which I'm sure he'll pass both of those and agree personal terms. Absolutely fine. The fee, like Lauren said, is in a region of around 60 million euros, which equates to around 57 million pounds. So we've basically made around 19 to 20 million pounds on him because we signed him for 30, I think it's 38 million we signed him for originally. No, 32 it says on here. So we've made 25. Oh, it must have been wrong. Okay.
Paid 32 million.
Well,
we signed everyone for 32 million.
That's true.
Sign them for more.
I read somewhere 38, but I've written down 32, so 32 must be right.
32 million quid, not that much.
And he's played 120 games for us, scoring 64 goals, which is more than a goal every other game, which is fantastic. And he's got 22 assists for us as well. So he's been a loyal servant. It's a shame how his career has ended. Obviously, let us know what you want to say about Diego Costa in the comment section, guys, as well. On Twitter as well, we asked for your favourite Diego Costa moment. So if you haven't followed us on Twitter, go over and follow us on Twitter because we have a moments section which we made full of tweets for Diego Costa. So go and check out if some of your favourite Diego Costa moments are over there. There's some good moments in there, including the City and the Arsenal goals as well. And just purely winding up Gabriel when we played Arsenal. So some good moments in there.
Mm-hmm. So just want to give your opinions on that thing.
Honestly, I'm just glad it's done. That's it now. I think that, it's been dragging on mud. It is. I mean, I think that at the end of it all, I just think, if we use the money correctly and we reinvest, then that's perfect. But the thing is, we should have tried to get this deal done. I'm going to pick it apart now. We got it done earlier in the window, which could have been done. I mean, it's just pre-arranged to sell him in January. Then what was stopping us doing that previously? We could have spent the money and then know we were recouping it. Because then we could have gone out and gone, right, now we are going to sign another world-class striker. Because let's be honest, I put this out on my Twitter earlier. What world-class striker is going to want to move in January and play second fiddle?
No, exactly, especially because they're going to be, not eligible. Is that the word?
They're not going to be eligible for the Champions League.
Exactly. No? So, there is a lot of issues with it, but we all know it dragged a long time. But I think even though it was a bit annoying, he was being a bit of a prick. For being honest, like as much as I still think Conte didn't handle it perfectly, remember that of great.
And your message in the comment section.
Yeah, I see that.
And gave us a lot of great moments, a lot of great wins, and I think we should remember that rather than obviously the few things that happened in the last few months, I suppose, because they scored well, meaning there's basically scored against the League Cup final. So many goals at this. Basically, when he signed, scored a lot of important goals last season as well. Obviously, fiddled out towards the end of the season, but without his goals, without his 20 goals, still wouldn't have won the league, would we? So.
Rightly so. I agree. I think I'm not. He definitely. We wouldn't leave that him. However, the one thing that we have to keep in mind is obviously a great servant he was. He was also a very turbulent servant in terms of he was always wanting to go. Oh no, you're going to stay and all that kind of stuff. But it's quite disappointing to see how it's come to an end. I mean, I would have preferred if he left Atletico. I would have preferred if it had been a clean break. Whereas now it's been, let's be honest, quite a messy breakup and. It's people are going to remember his goals, but then they're going to remember this also.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. You saying that?
I think I kind of agree with the way they've done it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of prefer the way they've done it as opposed to selling him during the summer because we wouldn't have got the money. We would have waited till January to get the money because they're not allowed to legally pay us until January when they are legally allowed to sign the player. So it would have been a pre-agreement with no money involved. So we would have still been on our books.
No, but bear in mind also, if we get the money in January as a club, we have the money to spend. So if we went out and spent 57 million quid.
But we can still sign a world-class striker in January who can play in the Champions League, Alexis Sanchez. He's not cup-tied.
Yeah, but is he going to move?
Yeah, because he wanted to move to City. It broke down. He came out and said, who was it? Someone in the Chilean camp said that he was devastated when his move broke down. Yeah, and now he's acting like, yeah, he wants to stay at Arsenal, but he'll leave at the next chance he gets. If someone needs to test Arsenal like they were tested with Man City.
It's not from the horse's mouth, though, is it?
No, but nothing's from the horse's mouth nowadays.
No, that's true. But I mean, bear in mind, this whole thing came from the horse's mouth. Morata, when he comes out, he has said, you know, I wanted to move and all this. And there was news in the Spanish press that he had come out and said that you're not going to sign a Belotti, a Cavani, or a Sanchez in January.
You might get Belotti.
You can sign a Belotti. We're not going
to get Belotti.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But on the other hand, I think, is it really necessary that we get 2 world-class strikers? Because very few teams have that. We just need a third one.
We're not going to play 2 up front. We're never going to play 2 up front. Not with Hazard in our team.
That's the source.
Where's the source? He actually doesn't live in this building, so I couldn't tell you. But
that wasn't there.
No, I did have some lovely sauce in there. It was hot and spicy noodles, so it was quite nice. And it was actually proper noodles, not any of this pot noodle crap. But by the way, pot noodle, if you do want to sponsor us, you know, let us know. That'd be great. No, but yeah, I think if we got a third choice striker, everybody was a joke, by the way. Not the actual source. That was true because that has been backed up by previous stuff and all of that. But the actual injury, if we're going to go out on Monday, it's often. I'll point out that they're probably going to be. So that already narrows the market. Let's be real. We need
English strikers in Kane.
Jamie Vardy, Kane. Who else could potentially be a good striker?
Exactly.
Tammy Abraham potentially. But I mean, if we're going to reinvest something, chances are probably be reinvested into various positions or won't spend it all, which is more realistic.
To be honest, I'm not really, about this, reinvesting talk because I'm like, we have the money anyway. Yes, it's good when we get money in, for net spend and stuff, but we don't necessarily need to sell someone if we really want to sign someone. Like, I don't think that's how Abramovich works.
Well, no, but obviously we're needing the squad. And let's be honest, really this squad, in January, if we get out of the round of 16 of the Champions League, we're going to need to sign some players for squad depth and rotation in the Premier League and Cups.
Yeah.
For FA Cup, I'm not sure players might be cup tied. I'm not sure if the first round. Well, because I mean, if
the FA Cup, can you be cup tied?
Yeah, first round is in January. Well, third round is in January. That's when the Premier League teams come.
Yeah.
And if that's like midway through January, so if you want to get a player in that team, you have to probably get them before you play those games, which is going to obviously, basically make our chance of signing players even smaller. So we need to be able to be focused and basically meet up with those deals. In reality, we're going to have to re-strengthen the squad. Because it's not deep enough to last us a whole season if someone gets injured. I mean, Drinkwater is decent for rotation. He's not fit. So as it stands right now, we don't have enough central. Bakayoko, obviously, will come on to today a bit later. He's going to be, apparently, could be back for Stoke, which would be good. Then we've got Kante, Fabregas. So right now we have 3 central midfielders. Unless you want to play Ampadu, who did play very well in yesterday's game. But I mean, mini David Luiz, but hey, Ethan Ampadu is G. I love him. I think that
you just get David Luiz, let him strip on an hard shirt, and just play. People want to go out.
Tell the difference. But yeah, I mean, at the end of it all, this money is going to be reinvested. There's no way we're not going to sign anyone in January. Unless we bring a lot of people back from loan, Pasalic, Van Ginkel. There's so many players, Van Ginkel.
But probably not.
Van Ginkel. Yeah, Brandon, what do you think?
I don't think we need to sign anyone in January, to be honest. After such a shit summer transfer window, I think they're proving why we bought them, and they're proving us wrong. And I like that. And if we continue the way we are, then why do we need to sign anyone else? I understand for depth reasons. Yeah, maybe a third choice striker, maybe another centre mid for depth reasons. But honestly, don't think we need to sign. I don't think we need to sign another left wing back because Kennedy proved that he played well there yesterday. Don't care if it was Forest or not. He proved he played well there. We don't need to sign another right wing back because we've got Zappa Costa. We don't need to sign another centre back because we've got Clark Salter or Ampadu can play there. Ampadu can also play in centre mid. We don't need to sign another left winger or right winger because we've got Pedro, Willian, Hazard, and Musonda as well there now. So we got 4. The only other place we look to strengthen is striker because we've only got Batshuayi and Morata. We haven't even got any youth players to play up front. So, I mean, that's the only position I can see us properly strengthening. But at the moment, I don't see why we need to strengthen at this current moment in time because we're playing well. Obviously, it's going to be a test when we come up against the big clubs, and that's going to show us if we actually do need to strengthen or not. But you know, we're not actually going to go out for any world-class players in January. No one. If you think that we're going to go for any world-class players in January, you're supporting the wrong club. You've been following the wrong club for the past so many years. We never do.
Obviously,
great is Torres and
Thomas, Maxwell Brown, just so you know, because let's be honest, we just had one head of the transfer window in terms of we've been on that. But frankly, I quite like a break from transfer talk. That's my opinion. I mean, if anything comes up where they're talking about, I'd like to see how Costa we'll keep people here in the know. Yeah, I mean, let's move on to talking about yesterday's game.
Yeah, basically, we mentioned, is already obviously about Batshuayi. He scored a hat-trick yesterday. Still don't think about it.
No,
I don't know.
Thank you so much. Somebody agrees with me.
Scared.
I think he did the job he needed to yesterday. Scott, a guy, meeting, and oh my God, he works for Capital Radio. He just came up to us and I'm like, yeah, right. Basically, what he to do. That's it, basically, and that's basically how the Comets can win because you don't mess with the big Scottish blokes. Much more of you. What his number? Great stuff. But yeah, I think that here to do today. And when it comes to it, that's all that matters really. He scored 3 goals, but all in, he didn't perform that great. One of them was Hazard did all the work and he passed to him for attacking. The other one was a rebound when Kennedy shot and it hit his head and went in.
Yeah.
And there was only one where it really did some work. But I mean, he wasn't making the right runs in my opinion.
It was a bit better than against Karabakh, I thought, because he scored 1 and basically forced the own goal. But it took him until 85th minute, being 4-0 up to actually be in the right position in that game. Yesterday that was better, but I still think if you want to be second choice striker, not just third choice, at Chelsea, you need to be better at your hold-up play. You need to win more headers because yes, he's not the tallest lad, but he's quite well built, so he should win a lot more headers. Yes, it was against Forest, too. Championship sides are usually very strong in the air. I mean, I don't know too much about Forest, but that's just what people say about championship teams, basically. But I just think there's a lot of things to this game that aren't good enough, and that's the main reason why I think we do need another striker. And against Arsenal, you saw we don't have a different option when Morata isn't exactly working because we need, basically, in my opinion, we need a strong striker, basically because Morata is fairly quick, got a very good touch, got good technique, but he's not very strong. He got basically bullied by Mustafi.
He does need to bulk up a little bit, or you play 2 up top. That's probably the system that will probably work better for Morata. You need a big bloke, and he can do the runs, almost like a Peter Crouch, Jermaine Defoe.
Should have kept
Costa 2008. No, we shouldn't have kept Costa. No, let's not have that debate again. You are joking. Right? Yeah. Okay, cool. But I mean, overall, I just feel that Batshuayi is just not. He just doesn't cut the mustard, and that shows. I mean, the goals really covered up his poor performance.
It always happens, though, doesn't it?
I think that's a bit harsh. I don't think you can fault anyone for their performance yesterday because, like a lot of people said in their fan camp, Batshuayi didn't have a bad performance. Like Lewis said, it's the first time you can actually say he played well this season. Against Karabakh, he performed
well.
Against Karabakh, he played poor, but you can't be performing poorly if you're scoring a hat-trick. Nottingham Forest aren't as bad as everyone makes out they are. They're a championship side, and championship sides are a good quality of a side. So I honestly don't think he played bad at all. I don't think you can fault anyone yesterday.
That's why, if you look at it, found what kind of player he is. He's not a hold-up player. He's a poacher.
Yeah, so he's done his job.
Yesterday, the only reason he scored the goals was he was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and he got it out.
But anything else which makes a Chelsea striker, holding up the ball, didn't do any of that. And when he did do it, he got the ball down and he lost it. So held it
I
up.
can't hear you. Keep lagging out. A lot of people in the chat are saying that your thing's lagging like bad.
I closed it a different window. Better now. Still lagging, but we can't exactly just improve the internet the magic touch. So I have to roll that. But yeah, I mean, I get that some people might say yes, he played well today, and yes, he got 3 goals. I'm not saying he had a really poor game. All I'm saying is he still wasn't great, and he still, in my opinion, isn't good enough to be a second choice striker when Morata is injured against Man City, against Man United, in the Champions League, against Atletico Madrid, against Roma, in the further stages. That's what he's not good enough for, and that's what a second striker has to be good enough for, because you get injuries and it happens. Yes, usually we get fairly lucky with that, but you can't always get lucky with it, and that's the only concern I have about Batshuayi. I'm not saying he's a bad player, and I'm not saying he's he shouldn't be at the club, but he shouldn't be the one that we have to rely on if something happens to Morata.
Because you can't do it. You can't. Brandon?
No, sorry. Yeah, I agree. I'm not. I just think it's a bit harsh to say that he had a poor performance yesterday, because I don't think you can fault anyone yesterday. With a 5-1 win, we shouldn't be picking holes in people's performances, in my opinion, because we didn't do it against Karabakh. Apart from the fact we said that Batshuayi was poor against Karabakh.
But you say that though. You say you can't. If you win 5-1, but you're still faulting Batshuayi when we won 6-0 against Karabakh.
Yeah, because that's completely different. Karabakh are a different opposition. They're a different type of opposition. English Championship opposition are a tougher opposition. So if you win by at least 4 or 5 goals against an English Championship opposition, which are good quality, you can't complain. Because it's like playing a low Premier League side. It's like playing a West Ham or a West Brom. You can't fault, because they'll just set up. I was speaking to a Nottingham Forest fan after the game. They set up to defend. They sat and absorbed the pressure. We scored 5 past them. Don't care how we scored them. We scored 5 past them. So to score 5 past a deep-sitting Nottingham Forest team who are decent, you can't complain. You can't pick holes in performances. Karabakh are completely different, because they've got no Champions League experience. They've got no experience of playing massive sides in the recent years, apart from Tottenham a few years ago. You can't. It's different. It's completely different.
I think, at least myself, I think you gave me a little bit wrong here, because I'm saying he didn't play all so well yesterday, but he still got 3 goals. Like I said in my review, he got 3 goals, and that's the main job a striker has. But I'm still saying the way he played still isn't good enough to play against better teams, to play against stronger teams. And yes, Forest aren't a very bad team. Forest are probably I'd say on the same level as Karabakh, although I don't know too much.
Forest are a better side than Karabakh. I just think they still are a championship team, and they're a mid-table championship team.
Will not win against Karabakh away.
I don't know. I'll have to say we can't have this conversation if we don't win.
Yeah.
But I mean, now,
basically, I'm saying Batshuayi, not just after yesterday's performance, but generally, I think isn't good enough to be a second choice striker consistently. That's all I'm on about. Not just about
we all agree with that. We're going around in circles with this whole argument. But I mean, if we were going to do another option, I guess we could play a false 9 if needs be. I think Hazard shown his capability of playing there. He's done it for a couple of games last time Costa was out. Quite honestly, I think he'd be a better option than Batshuayi. I mean, we were all calling for Batshuayi to play last year, but now we see why he wasn't playing, and we see why Conte's a manager and we're not.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hazard down the middle, Willian, Pedro, Charlie. Let's talk about Charlie Musonda. Let's move on.
Let's go to basically more positive things from that game yesterday, because Charlie Musonda, I spoke about, I think, on his post on Instagram. Posted before Karabakh as well. We posted, again the day before the Forest game, and you could just clearly see how much it meant to him when he scored. His celebration, he fell down on the floor. Well, didn't fall down, but just lie down on the floor. And he said if teammates didn't pick him up, or didn't come over to him, he don't know what had happened. He basically was almost about to cry. And I love how much it means. And he put another Instagram post out today, joined us at 15 officially, which is probably why we're investigated by the FIFA for our youth transfer policy. But, it just means a lot to him. And, it just makes us as fans happy when you see goals and, appearances mean so much to a player. When especially when it's a player that does well.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously we've all been calling for him to play for a very, very long time, and And we thought Karabag was the one where he was going to start and play, and he wasn't even involved in the squad. We don't know what happened with that in the end. We don't know if he got injured or not because nothing ended up coming out about it. But with a performance like that yesterday, it's hard to see him out of the squad, even on the bench for games in the near future, in my opinion. I can see him involved against Stoke. I'd rather play him than Willian against Stoke because although Willian's on good form, Musonda is looking sharp. He's looking like he can bag some goals. And if he does bag some goals or assists, that boosts his confidence. We've got a 20-year-old young Belgian winger who could possibly be one of the best wingers in the world when Messi, Ronaldo, step down, when they retire, because he's coming into the next generation. I honestly think he could be one of, if not the best wingers in the world if he has the right coaching and he has the right amount of game time.
Yeah, he has the capability. I wouldn't start him against Stoke because, let's be honest. I mean, this video's already had swearing in it, so I'll swear now. He will have the shit kicked out of him against Stoke.
It's what I said about you. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. But as much as he played really well yesterday, if you look at him, and some people basically gave me stick for it as well, he looks so small. He is so small physically, and Conte keeps saying it as well. He's working hard to improve physically, and it's good that he's working hard on it. But it's not showing all too much yet. Even Hazard when he came was a lot bigger than Musonda is now, and Hazard when he came found it. At some points difficult, against the physicality of the league, some teams, and Musonda's going to struggle in that thing. So when people say you should start ahead of Willian and Pedro, I'm like, what? Why? How did you come to that conclusion? Because yes, you're saying Forest isn't a bad team, and I agree, but they're not as good as Stoke. They're not as good as Liverpool. They're not as good as Arsenal. Possibly they might be better defensively than Liverpool, but they're not as good as Man City. They're not as good as Man United, and that's who at the end of the day we want to challenge against if we want to win the league. We're not going to win the league by beating Forest. We're going to win the league by getting the results against Burnley, getting the results against Arsenal at home, and getting the results in big games away. It's I think it's a bit quick to judge. Say play Kennedy, start Costa when he played against Karabag and Forest, and start Musonda. I think that's way too quick. How many games has Matic played for us in the Premier League and played well, and still people were calling for him not to play anymore? So how, when he played against very good teams and didn't play well, how did people want him out? But when Musonda, Kennedy, and Batshuayi play well against lower league teams or lesser teams play well, everyone wants them starting. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I don't think people would. I think Musonda people want to start because he is a homegrown player and people want to see him do well. So it's this talking, not that. I think personally, I think he can contend for a place, but he just needs the right opportunity. So, for example, last year we switched to a back three, and then obviously it's an unfortunate opportunity because I don't. For me, this is quite a personal topic. Obviously, William, his mum. See that gave the opportunity for Moses. I know it's a horrible example.
Well, Moses.
Yeah. So obviously he's right wing back.
Basically, just Pedro came in for William.
Yeah. No, because Moses wasn't playing that one. We played four.
Yeah. But William would never play wing back anyway.
We don't know that. But, yeah. It's an example, and it's a horrible example. I mean, it was an opportunity. David Luiz is out with a red card. Cahill isn't performing, for example. It's a good opportunity for Christensen and Rudiger to come to that line. For the sake of argument, Pedro's injured. Say we
should be fine, but
he should be, but if he's not,
Pedro's been very unlucky so far, hasn't he? Broke his bloody face against Arsenal, then he had this ankle injury against Arsenal again. He's got some sort of knock on his leg.
Yeah, but I mean, put this way: if for say Morata was to get injured, touch wood, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could have Azar playing a false nine, and this would be the opportunity for Musonda to come in and shine and potentially show people what's capable of, and then maybe hold down a place. He just needs the opportunity, but he's not going to get given it to him because Conte's going to go, right, we're not going to be challenging for the league here. No, it's fine. I'll drop Hazard this game. Charlie Musonda, in you go. It's not going to happen.
The thing is, and Conte, I don't know why he keeps speaking about Chalobah, why he's being asked about Chalobah, but he said it again, if you want to play ahead of Matic, Fabregas, and Kante, you have to be better than Matic, Fabregas, and Kante. And then it doesn't matter to Conte whether you're 16 or 36. If you're better than the other players that are playing, you're going to play. But if you're not better, you're not going to play. It doesn't matter how old you are because he wants a success for the team. not looking for the long term all too much, which is good and bad basically at the same time. But you know, Musonda isn't better than Willian, isn't better than Pedro, isn't better than Hazard. Yes, he might have had a good game, and you know you're going to hate me for this again, Brendan. But I don't think he did all so well as people made him out to be. He scored 1 goal, and that was the only chance he had to score. No, he had 2 chances to score.
I don't know, Kennedy. I think he played very well.
Yeah, no, I'm on about Musonda.
Oh, Musonda. Sorry, right.
I'm still on about Musonda, but like, he was good. No, he was good. But like, if he's that good to start ahead of Pedro, Hazard, and Willian, he had to do more than have scored 1 goal and have 1 other chance, which he dragged wide, which he should have scored. You know, against Forest.
His influence on the game though yesterday was noted. He did have quite a heavy influence on the game.
But,
yeah, but
when you saw him when he came on against Arsenal in the Community Shield, he came on for the last 10 minutes and he made so much more of an impact than anyone else did in that game because we lacked that. We lacked a Hazard, and he's the closest thing we've got to a Hazard because he injects pace. He's got the skill that Hazard's got. He runs directly at defenders, and that's what his job is. His job isn't necessarily to score goals. It's to create them, and it's probably to, you know, to get involved with the team play, link up with the team play. He scored a goal yesterday. All right, he should have probably scored the second one as well. He tried to go for the lob instead, but he influenced the game in so many different ways that like Hazard does. But when Hazard doesn't score, it's noted what he does. But Musonda went under the radar yesterday because Hazard was playing, because all these other players, the first team players, were playing like Bakayoko.
I think Hazard didn't play all too well either.
No, I don't think Hazard played too well. I don't think Hazard played all that. But I think looking at what Musonda does, Musonda did exactly what Hazard does in other games. He did the brilliant things in the middle of the park that then created a chance further forward.
Yeah, that's got a point.
No, I agree, but I'm still saying he's not better than Pedro, Willian, and Hazard.
Not at the moment.
If you want to win things, he shouldn't start.
I'm not saying he should start. I'm saying he should be involved in the Stoke game, whether it's on the bench or starting and coming off at half time or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think he could, but that's just if Pedro is not 100% fit. That's just because Hazard might not still start against Stoke.
I'd prefer to start Willian over Pedro as it is at the moment because I don't know what it is about Pedro at the moment. I don't know if this what you said, if his injury ongoing, but he's not all that. He's
This may be a very cynical comment. 30 mark. He is now 30 years old.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's.
So I don't know whether that could be something.
They're just like
injuries.
Basically very different kind of wingers. Willian is more of a bit of a creating winger, basically dragging it forward from the back, and Pedro is just very good at finishing, except against Arsenal.
And in terms of style stuff, Pedro is just that very ratty player that will do the dirty work. Ratty is a good way to describe it, and the way he runs and that kind of stuff.
A bit the way he looks as well.
He does look a little bit ratty, like maybe a bit of Speedy Gonzalez about him. I mean, at the end of the day, I think if I agree with Brandon, I think he should be involved in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no, he should be involved.
Even if he's not playing and he sits on the bench, for him, that's a lot better than he has been doing.
Oh no, I completely agree with that. He should be involved, and he should basically get the chances to improve because training is all well and good, but you're not going to improve as much in training as you will if you play games. So if we want him to succeed, and if Conte wants him to succeed, he has to play him like a certain amount of time. But he hasn't warranted, in my opinion, and I'm not saying you're saying that, Brendan, but I'm saying I've seen other people say that he should start ahead of Willian and Pedro in like a normal game, a normal like say a big game, and that's why I disagree.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just saying, obviously, like a lot of people obviously do want him to do well, and I know everyone wants him to do well, and everyone's just kind of jumping the gun a bit, but he does need to be involved in the team a lot more, and it's been strange why he hasn't been on the bench and things like that. He may have been injured every now and then, but I mean, after that performance on Wednesday, no matter if it's against Qarabag, if it was against Forest, if it was against Barcelona, he played fantastically well, and he's proved why he should be involved in the squad a bit more. Same for Kennedy. Kennedy played really well, put a lot of doubters.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
No, he had played as well. Well, okay, we're going around in circles here again. Why do we keep going around in circles? You two, okay?
Because that's what this is for. This is for debating.
And Brandon, I'm disappointed in you. Why? No, why? I'm disappointed in you. You, not above me. Well, he is, but it's area.
What are you about?
Brandon, going around in circles. I mean, right, put it this way. Let's move on again, and let's talk a bit about Kennedy.
Yeah.
This will be the last thing before we talk about Bakayoko. So we're going to summarise quickly because we have gone over our usual half an hour mark when it comes to these streams.
Which we never end up getting to, actually.
Exactly, and amazing that we've got to it this time. But let's talk a bit about Kennedy. I mean, he proved me wrong. And that's what I'm saying. He proved me wrong.
He was the most impressive player yesterday, in my opinion.
It's like he wanted to do something. Brandon, come on, talk to us, mate.
I didn't want Kennedy to be involved at all anymore after what happened with China, because, like I was saying on the Instagram live stream yesterday, you shouldn't be involved if you're creating bad press and things like that. Why are you laughing at me? Because I put my glasses on.
No, not at you. I'm just laughing at comments. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, with obviously bad press. Oh, you've thrown me off now. Shut up, fat boy. Is that what you're laughing at?
Although, to be fair, yeah, because I'm not sure if this is true, yeah, but I've heard that there's different translations because he didn't post it like the whole post in China that everyone's on about. Posted it in Portuguese, and apparently there's two translations for that. And there's obviously the bad one, and apparently there's like a normal one. So like, basically, come on, China, rather than the bad word. So now, obviously, we don't know, and no one has commented on that. And like, considering they've...
Should we ask someone who's Portuguese?
I don't know the word, though.
I'm going to Diego.
No. The thing is, the club came out and made a statement about it. So it must have been the offensive way.
Potentially, or they could just be covering their own back.
Because like people could see it as offensive. A lot of things some people say can be offensive, but not meant to be offensive.
Here we go. Right. He's not going to pick up. I'll guarantee you, whenever I do a stream, no one picks up. That's fine.
You just like put it off speaker, and when he picks it up, you put it on speaker.
I don't know. It's on speaker.
Yeah, but no, Kennedy, in my opinion, was very impressive.
Hello, Diego. You all right, mate? You're not too bad. Right, we're currently on a stream. We need to ask you a question. All right, okay. So, basically, right. Sorry? We will. It's literally right. We're going to ask about the Kennedy thing on Instagram. Was it the good version of Portuguese or the bad version of Portuguese?
What do you mean? Because I've heard that there's basically two different translations for the word he used on Instagram when he said this, bad thing about China, basically. And I've heard that that word he used can be translated to "come on," and obviously, was it "fuck" or whatever it was?
Yeah.
That's what I meant. So that's what I'm on about, basically.
See, awesome. Cheers, Diego. Bye. Get on train. Bye. Love you. Bye.
So obviously, we don't know for sure whether he used that. All I'm saying is there is, room for debate.
It's one of my favourite words that I like to use in our meetings. It's a safety net, and that's the handy gesture. It's a safety net. He said something, and they've gone right. Just to cover our backs in case it does go wrong. Let's put out a statement saying, look, he didn't mean to cause offence, and he's been sent home from the door. And that way, it's a bit like, okay, he's covered our backs. But then he can turn around and say, obviously,
it caused bad press, and that's why I didn't want him to be involved in the club, because we just,
John Terry caused a lot of bad press for the club back in the day, and no one wanted him out.
I know. But I'm talking about in the recent years. In the recent years, it's died down. The only bad press we've had in the recent years, or the recent year and a bit, is Diego Costa, because of his story of always trying to stop fights in games, wanting to leave, being a bad boy, all that sort of stuff. And we didn't need that with Kennedy. And I think that yesterday, he silenced a lot of people. Like Louis said, he silenced him before the game. He was saying, he's going to play rubbish. He can't play wing back, blah, 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 blah. I don't think he can play wing back, whatever. But he played really well. It proved to Louis that you don't have to be strong to play wing back. You have to be fast and physical, like tackle-wise. To be fair,
and if he did, he wouldn't have conceded that goal.
What's that?
He didn't defend at all. He didn't have to defend because Forest didn't challenge us at the back. And if they did, it wasn't the other side. Well, he didn't have to defend.
I know what you mean. I'm just saying, for a backup left wing back, why not? Because we don't have any other options.
Basically, what Brandon's saying is basically saying that I was wrong, which I was.
Yeah. And I was. Everyone was wrong. Everyone was wrong about Kennedy, because everyone said, he can't play wing back. But to be fair, he played well yesterday. All right, he didn't have to defend, but he still played to his position, like how he was supposed to. The goal that he scored first was fantastic initiative. It was almost like what Alonso would have done in that situation. He would have made the run into the box, and it was a fantastic finish from a tight angle. It proved a lot of people wrong. I think if he can be involved every now and then, because it's hard for him, because obviously we've got now Pedro William Masonda, who's obviously proved himself, and Hazard, who will all be in the line above him. And it's hard for him to then get a game if he's playing as a winger. So I think the only other option for Kennedy is to play as a wing back. But then you've got Alonso playing so well, and you've got Moses and Zappacosta on the other side.
And potentially Babel coming in as well after injury.
What's that?
Baba Rahman obviously possibly, well, coming back after injury. I'm not sure whether we will use him or not.
I think it's going to be another Diego Costa situation with him. We've registered him in the Premier League just because we have to, because of his contract, because he wasn't going out on loan. He'll stay with us to get fit, and then he'll go off again whenever he's injury free. He'll stay with us for the season and then go off again next season.
Could be, but like I think everyone agrees that Kennedy yesterday was better than Charlie Musonda attacking wise, right?
Nah.
I mean, at least Kennedy knows how to cross compared to Moses.
Yeah, it's true. I think Musonda affected the game in a different way in terms of, as Brandon likes to put it, the magic.
But less effectively. Like, affecting a game is all good and nice.
But
at the end of the day, it's a lower league team.
They were both as effective as each other, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were. I think where Kennedy was very direct, Musonda wasn't as direct, but he drew players in, he'd move the ball, he'd move, and then that way, you know, there'd be different things going on. Do you know what I mean? So he's affecting the game in a different way.
Yeah, no, all I'm trying to get at basically is why Kennedy's necessarily behind Musonda in the pecking order as a winger, because I think Kennedy would be a lot better suited to play as a winger, and you know, to have a winger that can properly cross, because we don't cross a lot from the normal wingers. The wing backs cross, but we have Play Hazard on the left, who usually cuts in on his right. Willian crosses, but doesn't cross particularly well usually, and then Pedro cuts in, although he's right-footed, but he's very good at his left, so cuts in a lot as well. So I think in that way, Kennedy could even be a proper shout as a left winger rather than a left wing back, because like
but
he have to defend, and we still haven't seen how good he is at defending, because when Mourinho played him, was against not the best teams either.
But even when Mourinho didn't play him, and in the later stage, he did play left back.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But he, again, against teams that he didn't have to defend all too much. That's what.
Yeah, no, but he still played Premier League opposition.
I think he's lower in the pecking order than Musonda because the club wanted to get rid of him. The club wanted to get rid of him in the fact that they wanted to get him out on loan. The only reason he didn't go out on loan is because we didn't get a replacement in for him in time. And that's, for me, why he's lower down the pecking order, because Musonda was going to stay from moment one of the transfer window in the summer to right until the end, because Conte said he wanted to hold on to him to see what he could do. That's the difference for me. That's where Musonda is higher in the pecking order, because Conte wanted to keep him. The only reason Kennedy stayed was because we didn't get a replacement in. That's why he's higher in the pecking order.
Yeah. No, I just saying. What the fuck is it? Anyway. What I'm worried about, again, basically the same with Batshuayi. If Alonso gets injured, yes, we can play Azpilicueta left wing back, or Zappacosta, who's apparently played there as well, or Victor Moses. But like, say we had to play Kennedy there in a big game, I'd be like, well, I'm not particularly confident. Yes, you can't. We should have it as the team we are, but it's very unlikely that a team has, basically like for like replacements for every position, which it's normal. But still, I'd be worried, if he played as a left wing back against Man City. But I wouldn't be all too worried if he played winger. Maybe not as good as Hazard, or definitely not as good as Hazard, but I would be less worried.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I will have to leave this in the comments, because we are getting on a bit in the whole schedule of things. So let us know your thoughts on this all down in the comment section below.
Before we start off, obviously, let's cover Bakayoko's story today. There was news breaking out on Twitter a few hours ago that he had an accident on the way home from training. It was a car crash. Now, obviously, no one knew what it was straight away. Then news developed. Jim White tweeted out, and Sky Sports tweeted out that it was a minor injury. He was not injured. He'll be fully fit to face Stoke. He should be fine to play Stoke.
Yeah, that was one. And like you said, one of the sages gone anyway. So there was this one knob of a journalist who said he bloody broke his neck. I'm like, it's just... Yeah,
I saw that. That's ridiculous. Fake news. Don't ever believe any journalist until they're verified, or until it comes from one of the big dogs.
I think he was very verified.
The Sun. Don't believe the Sun in general. The Sun, News of the World, which doesn't exist anymore. About Sun, Daily Star, red top tabloids, if I'm honest, are not really worth trusted. If it comes from the likes of the Telegraph or the Mail, maybe not the Mail. The Mail are good on some stories, but not, I mean, there's certain stories, places where you need to go for coverage, which you can listen to. I think Jim White and other relative sources are worth listening to.
Yeah. Obviously, these things always get out on Twitter before they come out on Sky Sports. That's like,
no, that's true.
The first thing that was being said. I'm just saying, stop saying he broke his neck when he didn't, and you have no idea. Like, that's just a ridiculous thing to do. Like,
Well,
because
see,
breaking your leg could be bloody paralysed, and that's not done your job.
I mean, it could be. It's not, but it could have been another incident like Papa Suarez and stuff like that, which is horrible to see. You don't want to see that happen to anybody.
Don't tweet something like that if you don't know, and you clearly didn't know.
Exactly. I agree. I think unless you know what's going on, or your stuff comes from reliable places, then you don't say anything.
Well, the pictures of the car crash have come out, and I'm going to show you on the screen now. There's you guys. Hello.
Hello.
That's the car. So he drove into a tree, basically. I don't know how.
Right.
It's lagging a bit. Yeah. So that's the first one. That's obviously the second one. He was lucky to escape with minor injuries, to be honest. There's him naked.
I mean, obviously, depending on how fast he was when he hit that.
That's the one that's quite scary. That if our driving was on the other side of the road, and the steering wheels were on the other side, he could have been severely injured there.
The thing is, obviously, he could have tree, not all too quick, and then a branch could just fall on the windshield, and that could look like that. We don't know. It looks bad. Looks bad. A massive branch falling. Sorry, what was that? You broke up. I'm saying it could just have been a massive branch falling down after he drove into the tree.
Yeah, he could have. But with the fact that no one knew what happened, obviously, and then that comes out, and you just think the worst.
Yeah. Someone send a comment in driving. Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, all in we can do. Fine. I mean, all in, all's well in the Chelsea camp. Let's be honest. Off the back of a 5-1 win, going in Stoke on Saturday, we will be there for fan cams. Brandon will not be there, but me and Lawrence will be there to do fan cams after the game. So if you want to come see us, make sure you come say hello. We'll do a fan cam with you, and then we'll shift off to wherever we need to go. You can shift off where you need to go. But it'll be up ASAP with that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's it. That's the word. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning into this live stream. Make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. Also, social media links in the description: Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, make sure you check out Brandon's social media. Also, make sure you check out mine and Lawrence's down in the description here. This thing here. Brandon, do you want to shout out your socials?
Yeah, subscribe to me. I did try live streaming tonight, but it really flopped, and I have to research it a bit more before I do it. But yeah, do some subscribe to me, and then follow me on Twitter as well. I was doing all the 100% Chelsea stuff the other day when the Nottingham Forest game was on, so I'll be doing more of that live stuff.
That was, to be honest, right, that was some of the best live stuff, live tickers, because obviously I checked it at half time. Obviously, I've got 100% Chelsea as one of my favourites. Obviously, the stuff comes up for when I'm not close to it, so I can keep an eye on you a lot. But at the end, Brandon's stuff yesterday was fantastic. So credit to Brandon, well done. He works really hard. He was sat editing yesterday on a cold stone floor, and he did a brilliant job. And then he went to bed, working his ass when he got home. But yeah, anyway, Lawrence has been travelling.
Comment in the comment section. # Brandon pay rise.
You're getting a pay rise.
Yeah, I'm just going to do my signing off now. So, like Louis said, follow my social media links, which is found here. Louse1507 on Instagram and Twitter. Massively appreciate to follow me there. I know I sounded very pessimistic, if you will, just like... Yeah, probably.
That sounds really bad. No, that's bad. Oh, no.
It's obviously bloody trolling. Anyway. But I did sound very pessimistic. I did sound like very critical of all the players yesterday. I'm just saying it was a very good performance, and I said so in my review as well. I'm just saying people shouldn't get ahead of themselves and think these players that did well yesterday should now start every game. That's all I'm trying to say, basically. But yeah, that's basically it from us. And have anything else to say?
No, mate. Actually, yes. Make sure you check out my channel, because I did a whole behind the scenes things for Arsenal last week, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out. I want to keep doing it, and I've done another one this week. I've started it already. If you guys want to keep seeing that, please go ahead, check out that video on my channel. Obviously, it's in the featured thing on 100% Chelsea. Click on that, watch the video, leave your comments down below, and let me know how it could be tweaked and stuff. I've already had a few people give me some feedback. So, let me know what you think of all of that. Subscribe to my channel as well. Aiming for 1,000 by my birthday. 1,000 subscribers. Currently on 520, I think. So yeah, I'm going to actually start uploading on that channel a lot more.
If it doesn't get it, we'll record him crying.
No, you will not record me crying.
Yeah, we
You
will.
not record me crying.
No, just for fun, because then if you cry, you'll get to 1,000 subscribers next day.
Good point, mate. No, but still make sure we get to 1,000 subscribers. I don't want to be doing that. But anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. All social media, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you check out Rams. Make sure you check out Brandon. Make sure you check out me. All my socials down here. Anyway, guys, take care, and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye.